Yeah, I've presented Open Data Week as many times as maybe every Open Data Week. I'm not so sure. Databook's been around for quite some time, maybe 5, 6, 7 years. And so, yeah, I'm a big proponent of New York City's open data program. I think it's one of the best things. I think it's the best thing that our technology software, the city's technology software group have put together. Truly a world-class program. I think more data sets probably than any other municipality that are updated with regularity through an automated fashion. So if you believe in an open, transparent government, you have to have open, automated data being published around the clock. And the city does a great job doing that. So it's a pleasure to work with City Open Data. Yeah. So my name's Devin Balkind. I'm a software producer who builds lots of apps. I have a day job at an energy consulting firm called Grid Market. A long time ago, founded a nonprofit called Serapis. Serapis is the Greek god of information management. I've been a contractor for Beta NYC, born and raised in New York City, started WeGov NYC, which is a parent initiative of Databook to make New York City government help make it the best in the world. And so WeGov NYC, which is our parent initiative, a volunteer-run nonprofit project that builds and supports open source software and data projects that hopefully shows governments and the public better ways to use technology to improve city operations. So we're interested in projects that make New York City government more open, effective, and participatory. We support projects that do that. Civic Tech Field Guide is one of those projects, which is a great global directory of civic tech work, the largest global directory, crowdsourced global directory of civic tech projects in the world. The Reported app, which people use to document taxi cabs doing things they shouldn't do. Mutual Aid, NYC Resource Directory, which is a social service directory. Open Data Stack Project, which does some data pipelines. But when it comes to city government, what does this better approach look like? And this better approach has been discovered and implemented around the world. Some people call it digital service organizations. These are groups within government that use modern open source software development practices to deliver products faster, better, and cheaper than proprietary vendors tend to do. And so New York City still doesn't really have a DSO in the model of the UK Digital Service or 18F. I expect that the new administration is going to establish one or fully fund the remnants of one that exists. But one thing, and I'm going to take a little bit of liberty here in the beginning, I want to emphasize is that DSOs are not just UX and service design groups. They really focus on establishing open source infrastructure so that government is not beholden to the proprietary vendors, software vendors that keep them from doing the type of innovation that they need to do and delivering for the public. So open source infrastructure is critical. And one group that's emerged over the last decade of DSO development, surprisingly, is the United Nations, is a huge advocate of this. And really in the last 2 or 3 years has really started to establish itself as a center for propagating open source philosophy through government operations and government technology. And so we're starting a new campaign that we're calling some variation of UN in New York City, UN NYC, to bring the fine folks in New York City government technology universe together with the UN open source technology universe so that where things can happen, collaboration can take place. Because New York City government really should be leveraging this unbelievable opportunity that the UN presents now that the UN has gotten fully behind the open source revolution. And another way to say this, which is a more fun way to say it, is that the UN is literally organizing an open source civic tech revolution, like out of their New York City offices. And it's really only gotten momentum over the last year or two, but the city should really leverage this. UN has an open source principles document that governments and organizations and NGOs sign, which I can get into more. I got a slide deeper in the presentation in the end about that if people are interested. But it also has it helps governments around the world create open source program offices. And these program offices centralize the function of enabling agencies to use open source software. So there are a lot of obstacles to open source software adoption that are just legal, bureaucratic, technical, but really on the legal kind of contracting side, And so open source program office as an entity within governments can facilitate that. The UN helps groups do that all over the world. They have a digital public goods concept that is a directory of open source software that they endorse and that they connect governments to the creators of. And they provide financial support and connect open source projects to financial support related to this stuff. And so it's a mature program, and they have an alliance of mayors for digital cooperation, which is literally just open cities working on open source projects together, working on best practice documentation together to things like AI governance and digital equity, but also just making it easier for open source to propagate. And so I hope folks try to go to UN has a whole open source week in New York City in June. It's just a few blocks from Grand Central Station, where there are a whole community of open source advocates from around the world gather for a week of conferencing. I went to that last year, and that's really what turned me on to the massive amount of work that's being done now around this. And so hopefully OTI will be getting involved with that. I'm going to do anything I can to make that happen. The UN people are on LinkedIn and they're chatty, so expect more from that. Okay, so now you're here for not me ranting about the UN, but Databook. So what is Databook? Databook is three things. It is a data pipeline that normalizes New York City open data. It's a repository of normalized data, and it's an interface application. The goal of the Databook is both a gateway to New York City open data that's as simple as a single software interface, as well as the foundation for a SimCity style interface for the city. So the goal is to implement like SimCity style gameplay so people can understand the city and interact with the city in a fun way with it through an established process of engagement, which was, for me at least, SimCity 2 and 3000, really SimCity 3000. There's the problem, what's necessary to get there is a lot of open data as well as normalized open data. And so this normalization is the thing that we've done at Databook that's boring but hard, but AI makes a lot easier. And that normalization problem is really simple. When New York City releases data sets, that top column of the data table, if agency is spelled differently in that top column that presents New York City data, right, has a column of agencies. If just that top column's label is agency name, agency code, agency all caps, that can break any type of software join that you would do on that column. So both the labeling of that column as well as the contents in the column, whether it's DCAS or Department of Citywide Administrative Services or DEPT, Citywide Admin Service, all those things break any type of database join. So to get a truly integrated 60 data sets integrated into a single app, we need to normalize all that data. So we have a pipeline that does that. Same issue arises with things like districts, city council districts, city council district, caps, underscored. And so that's what we have to resolve. And so we have a solution for that indexes open data, normalizes it through a combination of manual and AI-driven data normalization pipeline. So we have a normalization. We take the data from the open data portal, we download it, we normalize it, we republish it. You can access our republished data via API or via bulk access through a couple of different methods. We put our data back into a fast API application, and then we run applications on top of that normalized data. So that's the data pipeline side. And the outputs in terms of the interface manifest as these different sections. And so we have 8 sections right now. We've got notices, which are from the city record, which is the official city gazette, the official city newspaper. We have organizations, which are all the city agencies and profiles for them. We have people, which is profiles of people in city government from a few different angles, including payroll, civil service titles, Green Book, which is like public contact information, things like that. We have civil service titles, which we're going to focus on today. We have capital projects. We've got public schools and charter schools. We've got the various districts. And then we also have a new thing, which is a procurement section, which takes data that is not in New York City Open Data Portal, but should be, but comes from Mayor's Office of Contract Services instead, and the Comptroller's Office and builds interface around that. And that's our first real kind of extracted data sets that don't come from NYC Open Data Portal, but we have to extract and then implement a solution around. Okay, so all this is available at databook.nyc. That's where the primary interface app lives. We've refreshed that homepage with a new logo and navigation that makes things easier to navigate, really focuses on the sections. We have a new city briefing section, which we just released over the last few weeks, which combines the city record notices with other data updates, such as contracts getting signed, new contract data, milestones from capital budget, capital projects. We're going to implement like new data sets being added to the data portal and other things. But we're experimenting with different ways to deliver a newspapery front page so that people have a reason to visit it every day. And we're also going to add like a newsletter element so people can get the smorgasbord of updates in their email inbox. We've revamped the titles, civil service title section that adds some data analytics about city titles. We also foiled a long time ago DCAS to get all the title descriptions, and we got those back, and we have 900. I think we have probably the only reliable repository of the largest repository of public civil service title descriptions. And those are the official statutorily descriptions of what city workers should be doing. But as we'll go through when we look into titles, it's a very outdated system that needs a lot of love to get to where it needs to be to deliver modern government for everybody. And then we created this new procurement section, which I mentioned before, and it integrates a bunch of data sets from Passport Public, which is the Mayor's Office of Contract Services website, and some of the reports that are published there, which are hard to find, but are quite interesting. And as well as Checkbook NYC, it extracts the latest from Checkbook NYC, puts it all together into an interface so you can see profiles for contracts, vendors, solicitations, which are the city's requests for people to get into contracts, people to work on contracts, and city agencies. We also did a research focus on software procurement, which will be a topic of this talk, looking at just the subset of contracts that appear to be related to software. Okay, so before we start talking about AI, I'm going to click around the website and go over some interesting tidbits. So first we'll do titles, then we'll talk about procurement. The civil service system is routinely recognized as one of the biggest issues with modernizing city government. I'm not sure I'm going to explain it exactly right, but in the old days, people got positions in city government through a patronage system, the Tammany Hall era. And so those positions weren't necessarily valid. Like the roles weren't clear. Like it was a whole other kind of approach to how to run a government. And so in the reform era, to improve how a city was working, they pushed the ability for job descriptions and job roles and the scheduling of roles into a formal system that has a relationship with the state legislature and these titles, which every government, I think pretty much every city government employee has to have an official title that corresponds to an official description that explains what they're supposed to do. And these titles have exams. To get a job, you need to qualify through an exam. The exam process is not particularly transparent. It's difficult to navigate, probably intentionally. And to ultimately qualify for a title that then can get you a position with a job. And so a position is a single instance of a title working at an agency. And so scheduled positions, which you can see here, these are the most popular titles, two ways to show it. But these titles have a certain amount of positions that are to be filled, and that's that. And so a lot of people get, for example, like a community associate is a vague, or community coordinator is a vague title. And so a lot of people who do like software style work or do work that doesn't fall necessarily within this antiquated title system, and we'll get into how antiquated it really is in a second, get titles that are vague so that they can do work. And so just looking at titles, this is one of the more fun charts. And this shows the amount of titles and when they were last updated. And so you can see a lot of titles have not been updated in a long time, if you can imagine running a job board at a company or a job recruiting effort at a company, and the titles that you're posting to recruit people, job descriptions that you're posting to recruit people haven't been updated since 2013 or 1995, you're going to have a tough time kind of getting the candidates that you want doing the type of work that you want to do. And so in our current title system, the oldest title is 70 years old, and it's a clock repairer. I actually don't think we have we have no positions right now for a clock repairer, but we do have 6 blacksmith helpers in our scheduled positions, supervisor of motor transit, various executive directors, or we have 3 horseshoers, which actually, which makes sense. I mean, we're got a lot of cops on horses. We've got, supervising housekeepers. We have various positions, nutritionists, ship carpenters, cool stuff. I mean, I'm not knocking any of these positions, but you can see that without having a lot of positions, we have this whole software revolution that's taking place. You're not going to find many computer-related, software-related positions here. So if you look at software, our computer specialist role, which we have a full description for, let's take a look. Okay, and so here is our profile on computer specialist. We can see the amount of employees and the salaries that we have for computer specialists. We can see the positions by agency. So Department of Social Services has the 23% of all computer specialists, and computer specialists are represented by a bargaining unit. So they're unionized, District Council 37. And we can also see, and this is where the FOIL came in, we can see the actual title description for computer specialists. And it gets into, you can see the word mainframe. It gets into a bunch of stuff. But let's see, when was this last updated? Okay, 2015. So not the worst. I mean, it would be hard to post a job description for a computer specialist at a company with a job description from 2015, but that's what we're doing. And so this is, I think, the most complete public information set about the computers, about titles. And so if we're gonna, I think what our goal should be from like a government reform perspective is to push to get a lot of title updates happening as quickly as possible. But we also are missing a bunch of title descriptions. So of all of the titles that currently exist with some type of active status, we've got 800 of them have full descriptions. And of the 2,500 other ones, we've got no descriptions, or rather 2,500 minus 800. And I think I got a number somewhere here. But we have 100,000 scheduled positions with titles and with descriptions, which is 69%. And so that leaves us with 31% without it. Now, the police department does not have, I guess, many, if any, public titles. And as you can see here, police officer, recurring, knights position, as well as the sergeants. These are 2 of the most scheduled positions. And they don't have title descriptions. Corrections officer, I believe, does have a title description. Yeah. So corrections has found a way to publish title descriptions, but the NYPD, not so much. So it'd be good if we had title descriptions just for comprehensive sake, but also we need to make it much, much easier to update title descriptions and to make this entire process just updated and accessible to the public. The exam schedule there's one reform approach, which is make exam schedules easier, more transparent, which is definitely something that we should do. And actually this title section of our website this title section and the jobs kind of element of our website is the most popular section of our website because people want to get jobs at the city. So making title exams, which I have found very difficult to aggregate information of, but I've seen, thanks to Zachary, other people doing it well. So I got to figure out how to bring exam schedules into this. But if you take a title exam, it's really just, depending on what title you're looking for, it could just be a questionnaire about your experience. To have that as an exam with the gateway, that makes it complicated. And the whole process of getting into city government through titles is just so complicated. People have written great posts about it. If people are interested, they should look those posts up. but it's almost like a non-starter. Maybe we should start an alternative process completely, or some type of scheme to just avoid the system as possible if we're going to be doing like tech reform work at the city. And so that brings me to, so we've got missing title descriptions, which we talked about. We've got old titles. We've got a place where you can research titles, which is here. You can search for titles here. That was software. You can look at design. You can search for various other titles in there and click on these ID notes, these title codes, and you'll get a bunch of information about the title. I can look at some questions now. Someone asked, can we see the number of people with a title over time? It should appear here once it renders. There we go. Okay, so you can see here, correction officers, overtime, the amount, the aggregate salary, and the amount of people in that role. And so you can see it's actually been going down pretty significantly, and the amount of the aggregate money has not been going down as significantly. So you can get a good idea of what that means. And you can also see the UA name, which I forget exactly what that stands for, but this usually works as undefined, which says the agency, but because we know this is all Department of Corrections, these are the position names. So you can get a little bit more detail about what positions exist within the title by looking at these names. Okay. So someone asked if you can use the data book to drill down to names of individuals. Yeah, so we have a people section. In the people section, you can access payroll data. There's 3 data sets that you can access through. Let's see. You can access through the people section, although it went down. That didn't work. But when it works, which it usually does, and I will be able to fix today, it is the payroll data, which is public, which shows how much everyone makes on a year-by-year basis. The civil service, the civil list, which is the people who have passed and are passed civil service exams, and the civil service active list, which is people who have both passed the exams and are, or rather the people who are assigned civil service titles who are actively working. So we have all that data in the data book, and you can click on people and learn more about them. Okay, let's move now to procurement. Okay, so our latest effort was in procurement. And so this is different than all the other work we've done because it required us to extract data that was not in the open data portal. And so we did that with AI magic. Someone asked, how did we do it? We did it with AI, taking the data tables, just taking the information directly from the data tables that are on the Passport Public website. I don't know if people are familiar with this fantastic city website, Passport Public. But this website has city vendors, city solicitations, and city contracts. And it uses software component I know well, which is datatables.net, which is what is the component that renders these data tables. And data tables often have, well, I'll put it this way. My understanding is data tables are being fed by an API, and you can find that API if you open up your console and look at how the page loads. And then once you have that API, you can just get the data. That's my understanding, although I let the AI do it. So the contracts, solicitations, and vendors, every day we have a program that runs to identify new records in this data set, adds it to our database so we can continue to pursue stuff. And then I always forget where I find some of the reports that they have, the indicator reports. This is a great hidden resource if you want. Is it you? Files. Anyway, if you click around the universe of Mayor's Office of Contract Services, you can also get additional reports about vendors and performance and things like that. Not a huge amount of data, but some other interesting stuff that we also extract on a regular basis. Whoops. Let me get back to where I was. Oh, I think I'm on a whole other screen. Here we go. Okay. Lordy Lord. I found myself in a whole other section. Okay, so we're going to go do procurement. So let's go do procurement. Okay. So lot of contracts, a lot of solicitations and vendors with contracts, a lot of spending over the last 10 years. We talked about Mayor's Office of Contract Services. There's also checkbook.nyc, which in its heyday, you can imagine 2012, this was actually a super impressive looking website. And this is every check that the comptroller that goes through the comptroller's office gets approved by the comptroller. So this is every check that goes out from the city. And it shows it. It's got this kind of data interface for it, but it also has an API and data feeds. And so you can, I think it comes out to 10 gigabytes of data, something like that, since 2011, 2012. So it's a lot of data. But we extract that and we update it. So we have all that data in our system. We can run analysis on it, build some charts around procurement methods, the industries. What you'll find when you look at all this data is just that homeless services, health services, homeless services, by far the large, significant expenses for us, as well as infrastructure. And you can start clicking into the top vendors and you'll see homeless service providers, health service providers, and infrastructure companies are the main spends. But let's get to, see through here, you can see profiles of all the vendors. I think it's most fun to do this through the perspective of software. It's nice to just see a limited set of information to try to understand what's going on. All right, so during the process of developing this application, we have some friends, there was someone who put together this GitHub, the purpose of which was to just identify what contracts from Checkbook NYC data would plausibly be software related. And so I want to talk about the power of AI shortly, because with all of this data processed in our system, I could ask an AI that has been helping develop the data book, point them at this repo and say, can you just make a page using all of our data to visualize the research questions discussed in this data repo using the methods in this data repo, literally like one or two prompts. And it could, in that repo, tag digital service vendors. So it looked through all of the contract descriptions, which are really contract titles, which are it's very little information, but look through the vendors and the contract descriptions, tag those vendors, and then put analytics on top of it. And so what you can see here is data since 2022. So we've got about 4 years of data in here, representing maybe $7.5 billion worth of contracts, 4,000 contracts, 200 vendors, blah, blah, blah. And you can see the biggest awards. You can see this list here. We can click into them and learn more about what these companies are and what they do. But the information that I'm most interested in is what contracts are expiring over the next 5 years, and do we need them? And so I think what would be fun, and I hope that what this administration does, is takes a really hard look at the list of contracts as they come up for expiration and picks a point in time and says, when do we want to stop renewing? Let's take hard looks at these contracts and ask, do we still need them? Particularly now that people in the software industry recognize, certainly Wall Street recognizes, that AI is transforming the software as a service universe. All of the large software as a service companies, whether it's Salesforce or Deloitte's consulting wing or whatever, have been hit really hard in the stock market because they're realizing that Claude, OpenAI, et cetera, can recreate these software as a service. Using AI, you can recreate these software as a service tools, and then you don't need these companies anymore, or you don't need these products anymore. And so that's the future that is coming. And so do we need all these contracts? So let's look at a few of them. I think it's more fun to really just click around spontaneously, such as, and some vendors like this one. Okay, yeah, Cab IQ. So $1.6 million from Tax and Limousine Commission for Cab IQ. And one of the things that once you start looking at the data becomes clear is just that I don't know what this is, right? If I Google Cab IQ and East Bank, like right now, there's no information here. So one of the things you realize is that the city is not publishing the type of information that would make it easy to figure out like what is going on here. So if I Google Cab IQ and East Bank, certainly doesn't look like any information that makes sense in this context for taxis, Cab IQ, Taxi, NYC, East Bank. Okay. Okay. So maybe this is related to the Curb app. It would be nice if the city agencies had simple explanations that would allow us to see what these this is software mean. What is this? That you can see additional information around contracts and things like that. But SHI International is one that I have looked at a little bit more and is quite interesting because they are the number one software vendor with $1.2 billion contracts. And actually the contracts are strange because it really is a bunch of small contracts and then one $1.2 billion contract that exists every 10 years. And so SHI International is a company that the city uses to buy software licenses for tons of other software and blah, blah, blah. So one of the things that once you start looking at software procurement in the city is that you see companies like SHI International, which with $1.2 billion of business, you can imagine the founder is quite rich. He's a friend of Elon Musk. If you start Googling around, you can see all types of information about that. But the way the city works with software is, right, someone just put it in the chat, which is there's a mandate for the city to use MWBE, minority woman-owned business contracts. So they want to do business with minority-owned businesses. And so one of the easy ways for them to do that is to work with companies like SHI International, which is a registered minority-owned business, to buy Salesforce licenses, buy Microsoft licenses, buy technology through them as a middle person so that they can label their purchase as MWBE. And if you go through, you'll see that this is a very common practice. And if you go to any city's tech software procurement events, that this is the main event here. Let's see. So someone's asking, is it not possible to see what tools are actually getting purchased? It is not. It can be if the contract name in the contract name, you get some information. And so these are the contract titles. Sometimes they will say things like WebEx or whatever, but often they'll say things more like this, SI class 2 renewal number 1. So this is not transparent, right? This is not an easy way to identify contracts. And so one of the things I do want to do, actually, which I screwed up on and I need to fix, is making more tables available in the application that show the title, because that makes it a lot easier to just do what I'm doing right now. And actually, that's going to bring me to AI. So to build this thing, what I first did was I tried to build it all in AI, and I did. And so I have a first version, which actually is a little bit better. And I need to just update the other version because it shows a little bit more what the names are of the contracts. So I'm a little embarrassed that I did not do that earlier, but let it be known that at oce.wegov.nyc, it's a little bit easier to sort through, but I will fix that. Let me see if we can get into a few more of these. Okay, so here we go. The homeless placement system, $4.5 million. This is SVAM International and minority-owned business of the Asian variety. And so if we go into this group specifically, actually, I know them a little bit just because I've looked. I love their website. Their website is a perfect example of what these types of businesses look like, although theirs is a more sophisticated version, but it's the style. You can see that they have a lot of certifications to sell to governments in their service offerings. They document what they say they do in a way that is very easy to explain within the government context why they get the contract. So it really is a company that exists. And maybe this one is not the best example, but with the stock photos and stuff like that, and these graphics, these are companies that exist to fit within the existing procurement pattern. And so what I am suggesting is that these companies are going to be in trouble because of the AI situation, making software a lot easier to develop. So I do want to give you a quick rant on AI stuff, but here we go. So people are asking, like, does it break down who sub-vendors are, things like that? No. The information that we have here, generally speaking, is what the government is releasing. There's more information. You're going to see it here. And one of the purposes of the data book is to show what the government doesn't show. So we have a lot of gaps in data. And the fact that those gaps exist is what we need the government to release information about. And actually give you an example of what AI can do now. There's a project called Open Contracting Data Standard from the Open Contracting Partnership, and it's an open data standard for how governments can make their procurement process transparent and public. I've written an article about it that's going to publish at some point about much more about this. But governments around the world, just like I was saying, the UN is on top of stuff related to open source and government transparency. The world is doing this better than we are in New York and in the US in general. Now, Portland, Oregon is the only city that I've seen in the United States that has adopted the Open Contracting Data Standard. And so using AI, the way they released it, the data for that standard is a series of spreadsheets. So it's about 15 spreadsheets with keys, UIDs that allow you to link the data. So it's like a database export. I don't know exactly how the Portland people did it. It's a tough pull to make that type of information, but they released it on the Portland, Oregon government website. You can find their spreadsheets. So we took those spreadsheets. We said, okay, what if we make an interface around this and see as a demonstration what Open Contracting Data Standard looks like? And so we did that. And here are a few. I've just picked a few of the ones that have the most data to give you an example. So this is what a bit of what an Open Contracting Partnership data standard data set can look like. It's not perfect at all because, the holy grail of open contracting is to release the contracts. And so Ukraine, for example, actually is a pioneer in open contracting, one of the first big partners of the Open Contracting Partnership back in maybe 2017. And so they actually released the contracts. So releasing the contracts is really what you want. What Portland did is they released all the metadata around the contracts. And so to give you just a quick example, and this is not software related, you can see that we've got our solicitation for motor storage and maintenance. And it has an item, which is what is being procured. And then it has the award. And the award is where all the action is. And so the award says, okay, this was awarded $125,000 on 9/18/2025. And then we can open up the contract and we can see, okay, this contract, $125,000. It went through an approval chain, which shows the process, how the contract goes through the system to get to conclusion. So in Portland, the contract uploaded or admitted into the system. The city auditor looks at it and approves. The city attorney looks at it and approves. And the purchasing agent does their thing. You can see the payment history. You can see the transactions, how many transactions went for this contract. You can see how that led to purchase orders. And there's even, although maybe not in this one, an evaluation of the success of the contract. That's within the Open Contracting Data Standard. So like with many things in government technology, open source, whatever, open government, Open Contracting Partnership has existed for 5, 6, 7, 8, I think since 2015, 2016. And they've existed for over 10 years. There's a clearly documented best practice for how to release procurement information that is technical to the point where it can be implemented. It can be implemented in Portland, Oregon, and Portland, Oregon data can be put into interfaces to make it make a lot more sense of what's taking place. The city should be following these best practices. And I think the UN is actually a great mechanism, a great forum for the city exposing itself to these practices and getting people excited about implementing them so that we're just operating at best practice level of success. We don't need to do big innovations at this point. We need to follow internationally established best practices for how to organize digital service organizations, for how to organize open source program offices so that our agencies can more easily adopt open source solutions and don't need to go to these vendors, so that we can adopt open procurement processes that already have technical solutions for how to implement that already are well documented, tried, tested, and improved. So that's my spiel, which actually I didn't even get to my AI bit, but maybe we can just leave it at that. Well, what I will say about AI is that we have a new piece of data book coming out now called the map. You can see it at map.databook.nyc, although it's not linked up because it's still a work in progress. The data book that exists is almost 10 years old, started using AI in November, so 5 months. It's completely changed how I put products together. But Databook itself is still legacy code, and legacy code is tough for AI because AI has to hold all of the existing code base in its context window to understand it. It has to learn how the code works, and it's using older software that it wouldn't pick today. And so if you start fresh with AI, it makes things a lot smoother. And so that's what map.databook.nyc is. And so it exists, and I have a SimCity version of it. That is, so the SimCity element is coming soon, but it also is a traditional element where you can go and you can see community districts, you can see all the data about them. And so what this has, for example, for a community district, is it's got the Databook data about it, of which you can also see on the databook.nyc/district section, but then it also just takes all of the Socrata data every time the community district appears and it normalizes itself, and it just plops all that data right in the district. And so we're going to be working on this in AI initiated systems to bring the SimCity as interface for New York City to life. And thankfully, I don't know if people have seen this, but someone put together this unbelievable isometric New York City, which is not fully released yet and usable, but expect in the not too distant future the ability to click on these buildings and get all of the city data about that building, and just really launching into the world of like much more fun interfaces to access this data, such as what you're seeing here. So I'm sure I'm done. Yep. Thank you. If you go to databook.nyc, you'll be able to find this information. I'll make a presentation version for it. So really, we have a great opportunity with the new administration to fill in the gaps. Like I said before, Databook exists. In some way, its most useful skill is to show gaps, because there's a lot of missing data, especially when you start getting into capital projects. There's a lot of obvious data that would be useful to have to understand the city and to do analysis that's not there. And it's like, those are the gaps. My goal is so that if you can't find it on Databook, that means the data is not there and it should be. And so the inverse of Databook is the information that we need to kind of have a full understanding of the city. I think the SimCity metaphor works because SimCity kind of gives a comprehensive vision, at least in its own little scoped world, of what a transparent, like what you need to know to understand how a city works. And so, that's another way to say, okay, what is our good crime map? Is our crime map arrests? Is it arrests per capita, arrests per what? Is that actually the best way to do it? There's certain kind of abstract notions of how understanding a city can work. And SimCity establishes one set of those notions. And so that's what we're working towards. We're very collaborative. This is all volunteer. We're a nonprofit that doesn't go for grants or raise money in any traditional way. So we're always excited to see the work of other people and collaborate. So I hope people feel free to reach out if you're interested in any of this stuff. Send me errors that you find on the site or ideas or whatever. Truly an open book. And I appreciate everybody spending time here. But let's see, we got some chats. But any thoughts on adding assembly? So yeah, we have all the districts. Every district that exists in open data, we have in the map. The city does a great job with the population fact finder. We've even, and by me, I mean, really, this is what AI has enabled. Something like taking an NTA or even a school district, which I think doesn't have a clear census tract element. It uses population fact finder to build the polygon of census tracts and then extracts that information into this little info bubble. Like the AI even picked what facets of information from fact finder to put here, which are not good particularly. I don't know why it picked race and ethnicity, Hispanic, Latino as just, that's the one race and ethnicity, but it put into the census data little info blurb here. So we'll refine that. But yeah, I mean, what AI can do is just unbelievable that it was so quick and easy for it to leverage Population Fact Finder to build these polygons to aggregate census data, which shows how great Population Fact Finder is, that AI can make that happen so easily. But you can see, like, for something like a school district, we should have some more information than this on the school district, but only community district, city council district, neighborhood district. Those are what's most regularly in city open data. And so we have profiles for those that are best. But we could go, I want to get into fire districts, fire battalions, and police precincts and stuff like that, and bring that data in there. So the idea is to do the equivalent that we did for city agencies on DataBook, on the map with districts, do that equivalent every time. Everything we can calculate related to a district, of all the different 16 districts, about 10,000 profiles, when you combine all of these together, including election districts. What is all the data possible to collect for these and put it in an interface that can be viewed and make sense? And also, there are many civic tech projects that are apps, that are maps, that are like this. And so another thing I want to do is just implement in a standardized way the most common use cases for these types of maps. So this districts is one, but we also have building lookup. So we have the 28 data sets from city building databases linked on the bin number. And so we've got all that too. And it's just so easy to do now with the AI that it's, 28 data sets. So you can add the 60 data sets from WeGov, from DataBook, with map.databook, add 28 data sets of city data sets related to buildings. That brings us to almost 90. So certainly by next year, we'll have 100 data sets. But you can see this is just a building near me, how much affordable housing was there, what's the HPD complaints, blah, blah, blah. So there are tools that 5 years ago, even last year, people, nonprofits, people spend a significant amount of money to just aggregate all the information about a building. That's commodity now. That is easy now. Thanks to open data that the city has released and thanks to AI development, these tools are becoming very easy to build. And the last piece of this that I'm excited about is we have a little My section, which I believe I'm just putting together, but you can say what building, you can tell it your address, it'll link to your building, and it'll tell you all of your districts. And so then we want to create an engagement angle where this is my address, this is my congressperson, this is my state assembly district, and that person. How do you reach these people? How do you reach your community board? And what other ways can we leverage that to create interesting engagement? Interesting engagement for the public around city stuff, like city services, like fire, like police, like the police precinct. What is a police precinct profile? What should a police precinct profile look like? Just where police precinct information exists, just out of Socrata without any filter, just like from what in Socrata in the open data portal can we join with the police precinct, and you can see arrest numbers, complaints, shootings. Then we can put charts on top of it, blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot that can be done. It's a really exciting time. I really encourage people to explore the AI environment right now. I can tell you completely, in my opinion, underappreciated in the AI environment. Claude Code's great, but Google Anti-Gravity is truly fantastic. It's like a traditional IDE plus agent manager. Doesn't get much press. It's great. So if you're going to try and venture into AI and you have some familiarity with software development, I think Google Anti-Gravity is a great way to do it. I pay $250 a month for the AI Ultra, and I get unlimited Claude models, Claude 4.6. I haven't run out of it yet. I try to work it pretty hard. So check it out. I hope folks enjoy. All the people who are still here, thanks so much. And feel free to reach out, email me. It's my passion to help make government stuff work better for the city, really, and really only the city. And so, my emails on presentations, I'm around, I'm on LinkedIn, GitHub, etc. So thanks so much, and look forward to seeing everybody around and everything everyone's going to do.